Okay, so social issues related with the ICT. So digital divide is one of the social issue that we are talking about. It is talking about the accessibility and the inaccessibility to the information and communication technology, right? So this either it can be accessibility or the maybe it is the ability and inability, right? So somehow like having the facility or like ICT enableness and the ICT disableness is the one which create the digital divide, right? So it may cause from many different factors, right? Maybe it is sometimes it happens due to the personal issues, sometimes it happens due to the geographical issues, sometimes it happens due to the financial issues, right? So somehow digital divideness is a concept or is a particular point that has been made due to accessibility and inaccessibility to the ICT, right? So here they have given you the facts, right, which will help to put someone into the ICT or which will cause of being with ICT, right? Of not being with ICT, right? So it's the positive side, the education, the ability to use technology, affluence, industrial development, suburban, those are the positive factors which describes that we can be with the ICT. And on the other hand, in the right hand side, the lack of education, inability to use technology, poverty, under industrial development, the ruralness of the area will describe what are the reasons for someone to not to be with ICT, right? So education matters, right? Through the education, it is one particular source that you can get to know about some particular subject. It doesn't matter whether it is going to be ICT or not or anything else. Something that we need to learn, right? So the learning, the major place that the learning is happening is the education, right? Someone can learn about something without having proper education, like without the traditional education. But again, in most of the area in the world, the people will get educated through the education system. So education will make a person aware about something. So if he learn about the ICT, so he or she will get to know about the ICT. If he or she is not learning about the ICT, then they are not aware about it. So because of that, people who have learned ICT will use ICT. People who have not learned the ICT properly, they may not use the ICT. So it creates the divide, right? The people who are using the ICT and the people who are not, right? And some other reason is like availability and unavailability of technical know-how, right? So like it is regarding how to do this, knowing how to do this, right? So like having the education will fulfill this as well, right? So as the paragraph says, there is a little possibility of connection between people who are knowledgeable of and make good use of information and communication technology with those who are totally ignorant information and communication technology or their users, right? So like it is majorly because they don't know how to do that. That is why people are reluctant to use ICT, right? So like nowadays, if you think about your generation, you people are born with ICT, right? So like from the very small days or like very younger ages, right? Like even when you are a kid, like 1 year or two, you get to know and you are having the experience from the environment about the ICT. But if you think about your grandfathers, grandmothers, right, sometimes your parents, they may not very much touch with this technology because it is something new for them, right? So like if you think about myself, we are the people who were grabbing the ICT to the day-to-day life. Like we are kind of the starting generation or the first generation of the where the ICT has been socialized, right? So earlier, ICT was like for some particular people who have learned it, right? But if you think about today, it is a day-to-day tool now, right? So that starts from our generation and continues with you, and you were like very advanced. You people are very advanced than our generation as well, right? So it will improve. But the older generation, some they do not know, and they are willing to know about this, and some they do not know and they are not, they don't have any will or they don't have any attitude to get to know, right? So because of that, the dividend can be happen, right? Yeah, Saran. Now it is more into the more into not the development or underdevelopment, right? Hold on a second, Saran. Right, people, just give me a second, right? I'll be right back. Right, sorry for that, people. With my little one. Right, so yeah, Saran, development is one of the reasons, but here, according to this factor, it is not about the development of the country. It is about the attitude of the people, like whether they are like willing to have this or not, right? So the third one is about the affluence and property, right? So sometimes people may have the idea, or people may have the willingness to learn the ICT, but because of the financial matters, right? So they are not, they don't have the ability to get to know about it, right? And again, industrial development and under industrial development, like if you think about the infrastructure, right? Some areas are there which are not industrially developed. So most of the companies and service providers who are providing the internet kind of facilities, they are not very much moved on to those areas because it is not developed as they want. So they can't spread their network, right? So again, that will be a reason to create this device, because of the underdevelopment, the facilities to get in touch with the ICT is not available. So it creates the divide, right? And again, the same comes with the suburban or rural areas, right? So urban areas, they are highly developed. They have almost all the facilities, and they can have the same facility from different service providers as well. But when it comes to the rural areas, again, it goes the same way due to the population factor, due to the geographical factors, right? They tend to get late to have the facilities regarding the ICT. So again, which makes the divide, right? So these kind of factors causing the digital divideness, and we have to create a digital bridge to reduce or to minimize or to get rid of this digital divideness. So which we are creating a digital bridge, right? So digital bridge is the concept which minimize the digital divideness and letting the ICT disabled people, or like the people who got no chance with the ICT or less chance with the ICT, to get more chance with the ICT, right? So digital bridge can be done in several different ways, right? So again, the best thing is like giving the digital literacy, or like increasing the digital literacy will reduce the digital divide, right? So again, it is about the first factor, being educated, right? So as in our country, that is why they have introduced the subject ICT to the O levels and A levels back in 2005, right? So they introduced in 2005. They had the first exam at 2007 for O levels. Then they introduced it to the A level subjects. So they step by step educating the generation, right? And now they have proposed it to have, not the proposed actually, now they have implemented it to have the ICT from grade 6 onwards. And they are having the plans to have the ICT subject from grade 1 onwards in every school. But some of these schools, they start this subject ICT by themselves in their school, but not as a nationwide thing. But now they are like including that into the syllabus, and given the chance to all the students, all the school students have that tool experience from the grade 1 onwards, right? So which will this will create a very strong digital bridge, which will reduce the digital divideness in a significant amount, right? Because like it is for sure this generation onwards, the digital divideness will be very less, which happens due to the education, right? But still other factors will be there, right? But still this digital literacy increasing of that will heavily impact, right? So they are talking about the benefits of the digital literacy in here. Realization of need of using ICT resulting in urge to use it, right? Helps overcome issues arising from the use of ICT as far as possible, right? Realize the value of using the internet of payments of bills, doing research and collecting information about educations, kind of things, right? And some other ways that we can create the bridge is like supplying of computers, right? So the areas, the institutions, specifically when it comes to the schools, still there are very big amount of schools where they have very less resources in ICT, right? Even in myself, I have the experience, right? The schools that I have worked from my appointment, like from 2012, the first school of mine where I have went to as a teacher to Sitavaka National School at Avisavela, right? On those days, it has the population, or the student population was 3,000 plus in that school, 2,000 or 3,000 plus as I remember. But they had only one particular computer lab which has 10 computers, like half of them are not working, right? Because of the oldness, or like because like computers were introduced for them like very long back ago. So they used it, they are damaged, and some are not in a position to be repaired, right? Some were there which was able to be repaired, but again, it is not sufficient, right? So like there were like 100 to 150 students who were like using the computer lab, but it was only 10 computers were there. So it was not sufficient, right? And then I went to a school which is at Godagama, and that of course had a sufficient computers because the number of students were less in the school. So comparing to that, it was okay. And we went to a field trip to another school. I really don't remember what's the name. They had only 4 computers, and again 150 plus students were having the ICT education. So it is a lack of resources, right? So we have to provide those resources, because sometimes as individuals, they don't have the financial strength. The parents may not have the financial strength to buy a computer, even a second-hand one, right? But as the institutes, like schools, like universities, they have the backing of the government, so they can fund, they can have more resources on those things. So like supplying of computers will help the people, help specifically the student, to get to know or get in touch with the ICT, so which will reduce the bridge, right? And equal opportunities to dispel other financial difficulties. Now, it is a very broad concept, right? So like making it possible for everyone to access the internet for free on a reasonable payment, and clearing all obstacles toward the process. So like there were several companies who are trying to provide these facilities, like using Google Balloons and all these things, right? But still it is like in the very primary stage that providing the internet for free, right? Even in the governments of Sri Lanka, they were trying to have these free Wi-Fi areas, free Wi-Fi zones and all these things, but it was not a very successful project, and is not properly implemented in the place that they really want, right? So if a government really want to have ICT developed in the country, the first place that to have free Wi-Fi zones or like having the Wi-Fi facilities are the schools, right? Because those are the places where the children get to know about the ICT, right? So we can make those kind of opportunities to create a strong digital bridge to reduce the digital divideness, right? And participation of intermediaries, like to make digital bridge a success, it is extremely necessary to get support of various business concerns, people's association, and both public and private sector sponsorship and assistance, right? That is another fact which will help to create a strong digital bridge, right? Because government itself will not be able to have the ability to provide all the facilities uh, to all the people who need that, right? So they should have the agreements with the public and the private sector to make this dream, or like to make this digital bridge much stronger, right? So yeah, so we were talking about an issue which is called the digital divide, and the solution is a digital bridge, right? So actually it's not an issue, it's a solution, right? And later they are talking about the de-skillings, right? So de-skilling means like substitution of the machine for the workers, right? So like if you think about a particular car manufacturing industry or car manufacturing company, they use heavy machines or like heavy robot involvement on their production, right? So earlier this was done by many different human workers. Since the machines are being replaced to do the same work, the people who, the one problem is people are losing the jobs. The other person is, the other particular reason is they will not practice that skill. So like not practicing for a long time will lose the skill from that person, right? So it happens to everything, right? If you are not practicing ICT frequently, you will lose, right? If you forget about your phone for like 1 year or two, then it will be a very new thing for you to when you are using it again, right? So the same thing happens with this particular problem. Now, having the machines, how having the robotics in your compute in the company, it's a good thing, but losing the jobs or losing the skill is not a good thing, right? So it has ups and downs of it, right? And yeah, before we move to the technology related employment opportunities, let's write down the things that are important in this regarding this, right? So please have the heading social issues related with ICT. Yeah. So regarding digital divide, you may copy this down. Right. So moving forward, yeah, let's not go for this particular diagram because we have these reasons. So you can, yeah, you can say it like this. Some of the reasons for the digital divide are as follows. With that sentence, don't go for the diagram. Let's have these things, right? So this particular part, so have this some of the reasons for the digital divide are as follows, that particular sentence, then this, and we'll go further. Okay, I will scroll and highlight the things that you need to write. So you will take those things accordingly. Yeah, these 2 points to be taken as it is. And here only the point is enough. Yeah, these things. All right, moving a little upward, right? So if you are missing anything, any content, just let me know, right? Yeah, from here I have to read you the things, right? So once you are done up to this point, just let me know, people. All right, one is done. How about others? Okay. Anyone who is still writing? All right. So let's go like this regarding the digital bridge, right? So after this, after the suburban rural topic, right? So then you have to go like this. Yeah. So you can have this first line, right? Just by don't mark it as number 2. After this, put 2 stars and just write it. Digital bridge is forming connection among the people, avoiding the digital divide. right? So after that, after you have written this, right? After this sentence, you have to go like this. Even though, even though, even though, even though all the people, even though all the people are given with a computer, are given with a computer, are given with a computer, will not fulfill this purpose, will not fulfill this purpose, will not fulfill this purpose, therefore, they have to learn, they have to learn, therefore, they have to learn how to use them, how to use them, how to use them effectively, how to use them effectively. How to use them effectively. Yeah, so as the next line, you can say to form digital bridge, like this, to form digital bridge, to form digital bridge, we can perform the followings. We can perform the followings. To form a digital bridge, we can perform the followings. Right? So under that, the first point is digital literacy. digital literacy, and put a hyphen and say, it is being known, BEING, being known about people after being known and having the skill of ICT. Being known and having the skill of ICT. Then after, there can be benefits of digital literacy. There can be benefits of digital literacy as follows. Right, then you can copy these things. Yeah, then only these topics can be listed as the other ways of having the digital bridge. And yeah, here it's better you copy this line as well. Right, so let me know when you're done. Right, one is done. How about others? Okay, let's move forward. Yeah, regarding the participation of intermediaries, yes, we have to write this. Then we can go for the de-skilling part, right? Copy this as well, people. Are we done, people? Okay, so moving to the de-skilling, right? You may have the third point. Actually, it's not going to be the third, it's going to be the second point because we haven't mentioned the digital bridge as the second point. We write as a solution for the digital divide, right? Now, according to us, this is the second point, de-skilling, right? Yeah, copy this. Deskilling and the explanation. Have this line as well, people. Yeah, plus the examples. There are 4 examples. So you better write this down. All right, are we done? All right, is there anyone still copying this? All right, so we are moving forward. So it is the technology related employment opportunities. Now, this is something very practical area, right? So if you learn ICT, if you learn further, right, not only the O-level ICTs, right? If you acquire a degree and an MSc or a diploma qualification, a high diploma qualification, like starting point will be a certificate qualification. So like certificates, diplomas, high diplomas, degree levels, then the master levels, then the PhD kind of levels. Like, so having a certificate or a diploma or a high diploma will allow you to open this kind of opportunities in the software industry, right? So then you can improve your scope and add more knowledge into you. So like these are the characters or like the designations. Oh, you are on a horse. Okay. All right. Right. So, okay. So a computer programmer, right? The one who is coding, basically computer information system analyst, one who is planning what to be code, right? Data communication analyst, something regarding the networks, how the communication happens, how the data communication happens, database programmers and analysts, right? Where the people who are designing the databases, who are maintaining the databases, desktop application support specialist. So those are the one who is taking care of the interfaces and the connectivities, right? Mobile application developer, a whole new area of things like the developments regarding the mobiles for the Android operating system, for the iOS, right? There are different types. Network and system security specialists. So like the one who is performing the algorithm against the hackers, right? The one who is creating the wall around your network, right? The firewall configurations and all these things are done by the network and system security specialist, right? Highly paid designations in the software industry. Network managers and administrators who are looking after the network and who do the maintenance part regarding a particular network. Software engineers, so like a normal engineer, the normal engineer is thinking about the constructions, the actual constructions, and the software engineer is thinking about the soft constructions, right? Technical sales specialist, even though it is not much into the computer related part, still, if you want to market a particular product, you should have the technical knowledge about it, right? So if you're going to introduce some particular application or some particular software or some particular system, you should have the technical idea. So then only you will be able to describe it, to present it to the particular crowd. So those are called technical sales specialists. Technical trainer, one of the lower level designations that we can find, right? Telecom managers, the telecommunication managers, telecommunication line installers, the field workers. So like when you are getting a particular internet connection or a telephone connection, so these people are the people who are like do the wiring and fixing the stuff and do all these things. It is kind of a field work, right? So you need to you actually involve in with the RJ45 lines, with the fiber lines and all these things. And website developers, another separate part, and a huge market is there for those, right? So those are the characters, those are the positions, those are the opportunities that you have if you learn the ICT in a vast manner, right? So it's a one big benefit out of this thing is like when you have the experience regarding these kind of things, later you will be able to invent or like to start something your own, right? Or else you can be a freelancer and like be a person who is working at home for yourself and taking the projects and doing it and spreading out the things, right? And if you have heard about this website, this is one of the websites that we have, right? So like the working as a freelancer. Now this gives you a very big opportunities to become a one who can earn money with the knowledge that you have gained, right? So it has logo designs, package designs, mobile designs, any different kind of things, right? And it is very competitive, but if you know the game, you can play it, right? So sometimes you can with the help, like even this particular website allow you to improve your knowledge through some examinations that they are asking you to do so. So then after you will be able to provide things for you will be recognized as a person who has a good skill in here, right? Then you will be getting more projects. That means you will be getting more dollars because this is an international business, right? So when you have the ability, when you have the skill, try something like this, be a freelancer, right? And don't try to be a freelancer from the scratch, right? It will give you a huge in one hand it will waste your time. On the other hand, it is a very long run for you to be a freelancer from the scratch, right? Apart from that, it's better you work on some particular place or gain some particular experience, then try to become a freelancer, right? So like most of my friends, not including myself, actually, since I'm in the educational sector, so people who are like working on the web development, mobile development, all these things, they just tend to have small projects from these kind of websites. Later, there are people who have resigned from their job and has become a full-time freelancer, right? So we don't know, we never know what kind of opportunities that the ICT is going to give us, right? And finally, it's the misuse of ICT to harm society. So one big opportunity that we are getting is the social media to get connected with the people. But again, social media is, on the other hand, become a particular place to bully, to threat people through the internet kind of a service, right? So it happens in many different ways, right? So sometimes they will make it as a cyber crime, right? Sometimes they will steal the things that you have created without your knowledge, right? And there are many different things, right? So here, as the list, it is introducing us, not actually introducing, it's telling us what are the things, what are the benefits that we can take out of the social medias. And again, under that, they are talking about the cyber crimes, right? So these kind of things are the unwanted stuff that is being done using the social media and the internet, like uploading others' images without permissions, releasing unsuitable photographs or videos, right? Giving publicity to information that can harm person's reputation, misleading people, right? Using social media to give out false informations, right? Using unfair means to gain access to other personal accounts and stealing personal informations, right? Those things are very common, and don't be a victim of it. Like if you are going to be, if someone trying to quote you on these kind of situations, you always has the help from all the law enforcements, right? So you can contact ICTA, and there is a cybercrime units as well, right? So you can inform them, right? So don't be a victim of any of these things, right? So these are the way that we can get safe from these kind of misuse in our social media, right? So being careful in selecting social media over the internet, right? Be cautious about making friends through the social media over the internet, because I don't know, maybe not you, but most of the people are tend to create relationships without knowing any particular person, regarding any particular person. Like, we don't know who is the actual person behind that photograph that we can see on the social media. So if you really don't know about the person, don't make any friendships or don't make any connections with those, right? And be careful in presenting personal information to social media over the internet, because it can easily be misused, right? So if you are using the social media, you have privacy settings to protect your personal information, and disclose all these things only for the people who are trusted around you. Avoid accessing suspicious emails. Like it can lead to many different things like spams and all these things, right? Do not click on the suspicious links. Again, the spamming can happen. Ignore anonymous emails, again related to these spams. Do not allow social media to access the email address book, right? Sometimes we do this without the knowledge, right? So if you allow some particular third party to access your email address book, you don't know what is the plan for them. And if you do not have the assurance that your information will be used or will be on the safe hands, then that can be used for many different things, right? Which you may don't know, right? And do not use personal emails to access social media, like giving the personal details in regarding this. Avoid installing application in your computer that come through the social media, right? Think twice before you use social media. Yes, not twice, people. Just think as much as you want. Uh, like it's kind of a very good tool, but most of the people are using it to the other way around, right? So be careful, right? It doesn't mean like we know the knife is a dangerous tool, because if we cut our hand, it will harm us, right? But we need the knife to cut things, right? So we never goes to harm ourselves by the knife. So same comes to the social media kind of things, right? So don't harm yourself, but get to use it, right? Excuse me. So likewise, we can say the ways that we are like protecting from the cyber crimes kind of things which happens in the social media. Okay, so let's quickly mark the things what you have to write down in your book, right? So we can end the session. So by next week, we will again commence with the 2010 paper, right? As I remember, is it the 2010 paper? Like we have to start. Meanwhile, I'll highlight the things what you have to be written in the, yes, in the book. So I'm highlighting the parts. Please mark it on your book using a pencil, and please note those things down. Then we will be commencing the 2010 by next week, right? So regarding the technology related employment opportunities, right? Yeah, so you don't need to write any of the explanations, right? You can just list these things down, right? Please list it out. So the topic and the list, and yeah, don't really need to go for that. Regarding the misuses of ICT to harm society, Now, if we write that heading and go for the social media, it's going to be a problem. Don't write the misuse of ICT to harm society. Have the heading social media. And yeah. It's like, it's better you copy this thing down. And yeah, these things. Yeah, now this actually something important. So please copy it down regarding the social media, the entire thing. Right. Yeah. And again, regarding the cybercrime. Yes, people, you have to copy that down entirely. So the entire page 189 should be copied, and don't go for this Roman number 1 and Roman number 2. Just write about the social media and write about the cybercrime, right? And again, copy this list of saying the ways that you can get safe by the cybercrimes, right? So page number 189 totally, and the points in the 190, right? So that will be all regarding your syllabus, right? So we are done with the syllabus. We are fully done with the syllabus now. So by next week onwards, we will be discussing the 2010 paper, right? So get ready with it, people. Do the full paper, and if you are done with the 2010, try the 2011, right? So now per 1 week, it's better you practice a paper, right? So if you are done with the oral papers, I'll give you the model papers as well, the term test papers, the model questions we can discuss. And since you got time, everyone in the room will be can be acquire the best results for the ICT, right? So let's try and practice that out, right? Okay, people, so I'll see you on the next week for the very same time, right? And yeah, with the 2010 paper, right? So thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice weekend. I'll see you on next Wednesday. I'm sorry, next Sunday for the very same time, right? Thank you very much, people.